Hey guys, I gave you the opportunity to ask me any questions you want so that I can share my experience without any limits, whatever you're interested in, whether it's around my career or my past or my experience in poker or the POKERCODE, the product we're coming out with. There's been a lot of questions and I'm excited to get into it and answer some of them, and hopefully I can provide you with some value. Jason LL asked if what's the best poker advice I've ever received. I'm very grateful actually for the group of people I played with, specifically on Cherry Island, and I have to think of Stefan Sondheimer specifically. He gave me a lot of advice around using HUDs and how to think about the game more rational, strategically, mathematical, and so I've learned a lot from him. And I have to say, watching Phil Galfond play on like years ago online when he was explaining how he plays was just like blowing. It was just so fun, blew my mind multiple times. It's just the way he thinks about poker is just incredible, and loved watching his videos. So that was probably some of the best bits for me. JC Campbell 95 asks, what's the World Series of Poker experience like? It's actually very interesting because every year has been a different experience for me. So my first year I was super hyped to go there. I couldn't wait. I was counting the days, flying there and grinding. I love the grind there. It's really the big field and the thrill and the excitement of playing, like actually playing. And that changed over time a bit. I think the more and more I got to know it, the more I played the tournaments and really spent multiple hundreds of hours on the grind. It kind of changed my feelings around it as well. It kind of became more of a job, or like a thing, like kind of a duty I have to take care of, and the more it became that, the less I enjoyed it. And then there was the middle part where I didn't really like to go to Vegas. And then actually afterwards it became more enjoyable again when I had more friends there and I knew my way around and knew where to stay and who to hang out with, and I found this good balance, this good groove between having a good time and playing poker. So it can be very different. I think everyone has a different Vegas experience. It's specifically fun if you win, so every year is different. Greedy Soul Poker is asking, how do you deal with tilt and bankroll management? I think that's a super important question and ties in with a lot of important concepts in poker. So I think tilt's probably the thing that costs you the most, or like any type of negative emotional reaction in poker. So I lost a lot of money tilting or anything that is closely related to it, like being angry, being not focused, being in a bad mindset. And it's, I think, specifically strong in poker because the multiplication, the factor, the magnitude of how much you lose when you tilted or like when you play bad is so much more than when you play good. So, you know, when you play well, it's, you know, you win and you're a winning player, but when you play bad, then you lose 20 times as much or 20 times faster. So that's why it's always been so important to me to stay focused and not tilt and really work on not tilting and get an advantage over my opponents there. So very important for me to to just be patient and work on my reaction or my emotional state of mind as well. And that ties in really strongly with bankroll management. So to have these principles, to not spend more than 1% on one tournament that I play of my bankroll, and to be mindful, like not gamble, not just like after I've been losing money more constantly, like put everything in one tournament. Like there's a lot of behavior that I've had, you know, a couple of years ago that I just worked on, and just through principles that I applied and like having a better mindset, then like became a better player, and it all compounds to becoming one of the best. So it's really really important to always stay focused and keep a good and positive mindset. Actually, a really great question from Aggie182. He's asking, is patience the hardest aspect of playing winning poker? So tying back into bankroll management and the emotional state, I think patience is really, really important. And it's especially because of the reason how, yes, you can be a great theoretical player, but the application is the thing that really matters. And patience, I think, is the access to being able to bring everything you know to the table and being able to perform at the highest level for a long period of time. Whatever you know, if you're not able to perform and not able to bring it when it matters, then It all kind of dissolves, and it doesn't really matter how good you technically are. So patience has always been this type of the most relevant part in execution for me, but also sticking to it and grinding through downswings and staying in there and being patient, like not being getting too carried away from the moment and having bad or positive experiences, but just enjoying the process and being patient. So like my Twitter post and that I pinned for I think over 2 years is just every year is a year of patience. Sheldon Kulako asked a question: do you think it is possible being a full-time tournament player? Very simple question, very simple answer. I think it is possible. I think it's very difficult to do it properly, but yeah, it's for sure possible, and very important to be professional about it and like to be structured and really think through how do you want to go about it. Don't treat it as just something you do, but like really think about what is it that you want to achieve. And if you want to go full-time, like treat it as like any other full-time thing you would put your energy into. There's been a lot of questions around people asking whether it's more for POKERCODE is more for tournament players or cash game players. I would actually say poker theory in general is applicable to a lot of different games. If you're very smart around the logic of how the game works, then I think you'll be able to pick up the games really fast. So the way we set up POKERCODE is that the foundation is relevant for both tournaments and cash games. Since we go through different big blinds, or like stack sizes from like 20 big blinds to 100 big blinds, you will find something applicable for all types of games. So in tournaments it will be more changing, so you will be deep sometimes, it will be short stack sometimes, and in cash games it will be 100 big blinds or deeper most of the time. So if you get the 100 big blinds, I think you'll be very good at applying it to cash games. So I would say the course is pretty relevant for both parts, whatever game you play. Another really great question by John Abert, and he asked, what's a good play to study ratio per day or per week? I found it very interesting how this is very relevant if you look at short-term versus long-term. So most of the players when I started were basically just playing poker. So it was mostly around the game was the only thing that mattered. And I think my group of friends and the people around me, and that was kind of the era when it started to become more relevant around exchanging training videos, like also hand histories, and like finding groups of people you can grow with and play together with, or think and talk together with. And I would say that was the moment when for most players it went from 5 strategy, 95 playing to like 30 theory and 70 playing. And I would even say that nowadays it's even higher than that. So the trend has definitely been going in the direction to study more, but I think there's a healthy balance somewhere. And right now, if I would go about it again, then I would probably study about 1/3 of the time and play 2/3 of the time. So that's something I would feel happy with, and to have enough reflection time, but then also still be in the game and grind. So there's also been a lot of questions around the price point of the course, and I totally understand that for some of you playing lower stakes or just playing poker for fun, the price can be quite high or seem quite high. And that's something that I think is really important to mention is Matthias and I sat down for literally hundreds of hours and filtered everything we learned in thousands of hours of playing on the highest level of the game. And this content is extremely valuable to players, every player who plays poker. If you think about it, if you look at playing hundreds of thousands of dollars buy in a year, or every player who's taking it a bit more serious or playing like medium stakes, like $1,000 investment, you just have to improve slightly to turn your win rate into becoming a more profitable player and easily gaining that money back. So since poker is played for such high amounts of money, but even on like the smaller stakes, $1,000 investment can really propel your career, or like even if you just play for fun, forward and gain you that money back over time. So if you just win $100 more every month for the next 10 months or the next year, you'll already have the investment back, and then also be a better player in the future and can build on that basis. So if you look at it from that perspective, it's not that much of an investment. You're actually going to be able to win it back very quickly. And if you play even higher, if you like on mid stakes or you play regularly, then you'll be able to return that money in no time. So if you want to invest in your poker career, I think POKERCODE is a way to go for you to get your game to the next level. So a lot of you have also been asking around the skill level or what the requirements are for the course. And actually, I think as long as you know and understand poker, you'll be able to learn something from that course. I would actually suggest to re-watch it later when you came further, or when you moved up in stakes, or when you improved at the game, because I think everyone at every skill level can take something away from the course, whether you're a beginner who just started to play, an intermediate player, or a more advanced player. If I could pick the perfect player, I think you should be somewhere in the intermediate type of range where you can take full advantage of the course and really level up your game. But in general, I think everyone at every type of stake can learn something from the content we provide. Thanks guys for all the questions. I hope I could provide you with some value. If there are any other questions coming up, just send me a DM or comment down below. And also, if you're interested in following on the launch, we're gonna release POKERCODE really soon. Stay tuned. And there's also gonna be a $200 discount still on. So it's the last time you get this discount. And I'm excited for you to see POKERCODE the first time, and I think it's going to be an amazing product. So I'm very excited and looking forward.